Dear listener, before the story begins, I ask you to subscribe to my channel. This is the best motivation at the start. And we are starting. My tale is slightly different from the others, but it damn reminds me of those stories that end up in the detective investigations section. I'm 35, my spouse is 32, and our son is 1 year old. So, I'll begin in order. This story commenced quite a long time ago, 5 years ago. We met by pure chance, stood in the same local network, chatted, and decided to meet. I saw her and fell head over heels in love. Tall, slender, beautiful. But I think, well, I'm no slouch. Many were pursuing her then, but still, the prize went to me. I was on cloud 9. We communicated for about a year and a half, in perfect harmony. Everything was just super. No one was cheating on anyone, and there was no desire to. The parents liked it, I was her first man, and in bed we were both satisfied. In general, I think, nice, I'll get married. Why hang out if we're happy anyway? Go further, a house there, children. But to strengthen ourselves in our desires, we made an engagement for a year. This year, everything was even better. But 2 months before the wedding, I was offered a good job in a neighboring city. We made the decision that we needed it. In general, once she calls and asks to go for a walk with a guy from the network, to chat, well, I think there's no ring, and I can't put her under house arrest. In short, I allowed it. She asked, but she could have slipped away anyway. Then I find out that they had a rather romantic walk. A park there, a campfire, smiles in the photos. For decency, I made a bit of a scandal. In general, she calmed down right before the wedding. In my family, a tragedy happens. I have to move back abruptly, as I was the only man left in the family. Well, I think, okay, we sort of planned to get married. We have to do it. The payment for the cafe is made, and my dad really liked her. We waited as long as we should and got married. So, I stay alone in the house, a man with his young wife and mother. Well, those who have encountered such an explosive mixture will understand. It's worth noting that my father was not just my best friend and comrade. He was a wise mentor and a role model. I want to be at least 10% like him for my son. But with my mother, I communicated purely hello and goodbye. In general, internecine wars started. And then I was called back to work in another city, and even with a promotion. But I think I need to get out of here. In general, my wife and I moved to my hometown. I have to shuttle frequently. Thankfully, it's not far. And Mom misses us with my sister. My sister also lives in another city. She comes very rarely. But then I started to stay at work late. But I think my family needs an apartment, a car, and other benefits. My wife seems to be okay with it, supports me. But I, like a deer, calmly work so that she wouldn't be bored without me. I asked my sister to get her into a government office. It worked out. We went on vacation and decided to have a baby for the sake of more happiness. It should be noted importantly that after a vacation at the sea for about a week, we came to our hometown. And then, with her pregnancy, she began to grow cold. But I think the baby is taking her strength. I fall behind. In the meantime, I find out that she often communicates with this guy on Skype. The one she went for a walk with then, remember, before the wedding, but seemingly without anything criminal there, just hi-bye. But I trust her. I didn't dig. Then the birth of the child rocks the boat of the family. Our personal life has been striving for zero for half a year already. In general, so that she doesn't get too bored, I sometimes take her to her mother's to help. I myself buy a 1-room apartment in my city and, having gathered my strength, turn it into a 2-room apartment in a month. It's better with a child that way. We take a fresh foreign car to drive the baby. In general, loans and naturally work to the point of exhaustion to fulfill all her and my dreams. She shuttles between her mother and me. Seemingly everyone is happy. But our personal life is nothing to speak of because of the baby, and it's rare. Mostly only when we're in my city. Her mother can sit with the baby. We can afford an hour or two to devote to each other and caresses. Well, you understand. And then the fateful hour came. I came for a couple of days to take her back to my place, and on the second day in the morning we had a romantic time planned. Picking her up from her mother's, she was not herself at all, and I had a feeling that she had been drinking. The baby is breastfed. Well, I think, paws and head hurts from the table. But no, I feel she was drinking. In general, she says she finished drinking with her friends. Thanks, great romance. And the baby? I say, in short, I'll have a conversation with your mother about what the hell kind of you drinks and feeds the baby. And in general, what the hell? In general, I'll talk seriously. I was offended. We arrived silently in the evening to the city where I work. And then she declares, I can't. I lied to you. I wasn't drinking with my friends, but with him. With that same guy, let's call him Mike. They were celebrating his purchase of a one-room apartment. In short, I got mad at her, I was offended. But I think that I also sometimes can drink beer with friends. Well, or go to a friend's bathhouse. Just a bathhouse. Without any hookers there, it happens. Okay, we sort of made up. A month passes. Our son's birthday. The morning of the next day, I see her fussing in the kitchen, and she has bikes open on her computer. She's not an athlete, but Mike is just that cyclist. And she's like shouting to me from the kitchen, Honey, look at the bikes. Maybe we should buy one like that for me. I look, and the bike is for a pro. I know a little about them. Well, I think definitely he suggested it. I think interesting. I opened Tinder. I had never looked before, only Skype sometimes when she showed me herself. And I read exactly it's him. And then the details of their drinking spree. It shook me. I think, no way, they just celebrated the apartment he bought a year and a half ago, the two of them. A year and a half, well, in general, I won't go into details. But from their correspondence, the facts are they drank together at his place, they drank in. Really, she didn't give in to him this time because she was afraid that he was too drunk, but she entrusted her life to him to drive her home in such a state. Suicidal. Bad. They don't think about the baby at all. And the most interesting thing is that they were drinking the sambuca that I bought, and planned to do it again and finish what prevented them from being sober that day. I cornered her, she confessed. She says, Yes, we kissed. Yes, he made advances. Yes, I wrote about losing an earring so that he would worry. But my earrings are all in place. I returned, as I understand it, quickly, because according to the text, she says that it remained under the blanket, but she insists that there was no sex. I read on in anger. This is not their only date. When she's at her mother's, the baby is under her supervision, and she's with him in a cafe or at his apartment. And the most interesting thing is that just that week before conception, after the vacation, she managed to go to his apartment to drink red wine and smoke hookah, probably to make the future baby healthier. In general, I'm furious. I send her to her mother, and I sit down to think. Not a single. Sorry, she just pretends that nothing happened. And I'm just raging. She says, Don't worry. You're my first man, and the baby is from you. But damn it, the word only didn't sound. She says it was just boring while I was working. She wanted an adventure. She says, if you want, get a divorce. And who will tell now what happened between them? She deleted the correspondence almost immediately. I only know what I managed to read. I'm sitting like a fool thinking, did she sleep with him? And does sex matter? They met, they kissed. She lied. Consider it a betrayal. In this whole situation, the only thing that keeps me from chopping off the shoulder is the child. But of course, it has become hard to live with such knowledge. I don't know what to do next. Maybe you can advise something. And another thing that prevents me from making a decision is the story of my friend. I remember it for several years now. It doesn't leave my head. And now I'll quickly tell it to you in the first person. I lived with my wife for 6 incomplete years, and we were married for 2.5 years. I used to travel a lot on business trips, and our life boiled down to the fact that while we were not together, we missed each other very much. When we were together, we enjoyed each other. A 1.5 years ago, I stopped leaving for a long time. I made that decision myself. I talked to my boss, decided that enough is enough. I need to be at home more. In the family. Before, when I left, my wife tried to occupy herself with anything she could, driving school, English classes, and the like. And she constantly told me that she missed me very much, that there was no one to spend time with, to talk to communicate, and so we stopped parting. But everything was already going wrong. Someone will say, it's a crisis, I don't know. Yes, it still didn't work out with the children, and we tried very hard. And I got a promotion, additional responsibilities. But I was glad for the bigger paycheck, that I could now bring more to the family, for us, for her. It happened that I stayed late at work, but only so that we would have everything. In general, I caught them on the first day. She begged me for forgiveness, but that was only on the first day. And that's it. We didn't fall out with her. On the contrary, we sat down and began to try to sort it out peacefully with each other. We sorted it out with each other like that for a week. Now we have come to the decision to divorce and move out. As she told me, I forgot about her, closed myself off, and stopped seeing a woman in her. And a year ago, she had already fallen out of love with me, but she tried to keep everything. But there came a moment when she couldn't handle it, and gave herself to the one who knew how to listen to her. Knew how to speak, not like I do. In whom nothing irritated her. And so it happened. And she couldn't hold out any longer. And at that moment, I came, as she told me. It was their first time. I don't see in her eyes that she regrets it. No. Only resentment that she couldn't hold back, and that she offended me so much. And I see pain. While we were talking, she said that she can't be with me because she's ashamed. I would at least see that she wants to get everything back. Then it would be easier to let go. She answers me that she is like a robot now. Emotions are turned off. Only the thought of how to survive further. I kind of understand everything with my mind, that everything that happened we won't cross out. And she doesn't love anymore. And I let her go. But the heart cannot understand. I seem to have calmed down. But no. It comes over me. And it hurts so much. It hurts that everything she does is no longer for me. And I'm trying to help her in everything to smooth out the breakup. And I'm drawn to her so much that I have no strength. I just don't know what to do next, for whom. Because everything I did was only for her and for her sake. That's the story of my friend. And when we saw each other, I look at him. And the man is not himself, emaciated. He took to the bottle at that time. I don't know how he is now. We haven't seen each other for a long time. But I don't think his fate turned out well. And I don't want that for myself. But on the other hand, I don't know if there was something between them or not. Advise me what to do.